Good evening, my fellow friends and YouTubers. This is Kurt, and welcome back to the Kurt's Place channel here on YouTube. Well, guys, we're back down here in my basement game room. Now, I have another MAME instruction video for you. This is going to give you some tips on what is known as an aspect ratio in MAME and how you actually adjust the aspect ratio on your arcade machine monitor. Now, I want to mention, don't forget to click that subscribe button. Also, if you like what you see, don't forget to smash the like button. And if you have any comments, leave them in the comment section down below. All right, now what we're actually looking at right now is we're actually looking at the MAME game options screen. Now, you're going to notice on the screen, there's a little icon there that says Enforce Aspect Ratio. Now, if you're wondering what that does, that affects how it's actually displayed on your screen. Now, it's a very simple thing to adjust, but it makes a big difference depending on how you want to play the games. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start a game out, and we're going to leave it with this Enforce Aspect Ratio on, and you're going to see what it does when I put it on the screen. So let's go ahead and try it. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead. Now remember, when you start a game up, you have to turn off the the options to be able to start up a game. So we're going to go ahead and start up mapping. Now keep in mind, this is with the aspect ratio on. All right, now what you're going to notice that I have a big screen here on my pinball machine, okay? Now you're going to notice that the screen does not go all the way to the top. You notice how there's space in the top and there's space in the bottom. If you want that to fill the whole screen, and I like to play it that way, you have to change the settings. Now this is what's known as aspect ratio. That means that this is displaying the game in the correct proportions as it would be if you were playing on the arcade machine. That's the reason why it adjusts the screen the way it does, because this is the correct aspect ratio when you're playing the game. It's not stretched. It's the exact aspect ratio you get when you play the game, which in a lot of games, it can affect it because it can make it where it will play more true to the way it would feel if it's in the original aspect ratio as it is here. Now, let me show you what happens if I decide I want to go ahead and use the whole screen. I want to go up and down and use the whole screen. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off the Enforce Aspect Ratio, and you're going to see what that does here. And you're going to see it makes a difference when I do that. So let's try it. Okay, now I'm going to go back to my game options. On the top there, my default game options. Okay, now you're going to notice now where it says Enforce Aspect Ratio, I'm going to click that off. And you notice I clicked it off, and then I'm going to say Apply. Remember, you have to hit Apply for the changes to take effect, and then I say OK. Now watch what happens now when I run the game. I'll run the game again, you're going to see what happens. Okay, now you notice. Now did you notice something? The game now is filling up the entire screen, all the way to the bottom and all the way to the top. Now, what it did is it stretches it out on the screen. It's not the aspect ratio. It's not the aspect ratio. Not enforcing the aspect ratio. It's stretching it out to fill the screen. Now, I have a lot of games that I like to play where I want to fill the whole screen. I enjoy the games better when I do it without the aspect ratio, but depending on how you want to play, you also can play with an enforced aspect ratio. But this is just something to keep in mind when you're playing MAME, to keep in mind that you might want to adjust these settings depending on how you want it to play on your screen. And also keep in mind too, if you're playing games, the aspect ratio is also affected on games that are vertical too. So if you have games like Berserk that play like this, when you play it on enforced aspect ratio, it'll stretch it out really wide. Now games like that, I like to play with the aspect ratio engaged. That way it doesn't stretch it out too much. I want that to be within the confines of the screen on a game like Berserk or a game like that, or Pac-Land, where the screen's like this. So that's something to keep in mind when you're playing with MAME, is that you can actually adjust the aspect ratio depending on how you want it. Now remember, the way you do that is you go to your game options under MAME. It's going to be right here on the top. You're going to go to Options. And then you're going to go to Options, and then you're going to go to Default Game Options. And that right there is where you're going to have your Enforce or your Enforce Aspect Ratio or on or off. Now remember, when you change it, you want to try, make sure you have to hit apply when you're done. So this is something that'll help you out. If you're playing on MAME and you want to get a chance to try games out, you may want to play around with the aspect ratios and try different things out. It's a lot of fun to experiment with when you're playing MAME. Now, I also want to mention, by the way, too, if you want to help to show your support for the Kurt's Place channel, I do a merchandise available from the Kurt's Place channel store. There's a link in the video description down below. And also, I try to put up 2 to 3 videos a week, with my premiere videos appearing on Sundays between 12 and 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with an open chat room. All right, guys, thanks once again, by the way, for tuning into the Kurt's Place channel here on YouTube. Remember, when you're watching a video, if you look on the top right-hand corner, there's a little icon. That'll open up links to other videos that I have as well. All right, guys, I want to thank you once again for tuning into the Kurt's Place channel. Hope you all have a great day now. We will catch you in the next video. Bye-bye now. We'll see you next time. Take care now. Have a great day. See you next time. Bye-bye now.